Hello. In this video, we are going to look at using the library module to configure and set up your libraries and folders, assign relevant security permissions, and then create and upload documents for your staff and users to access. To begin with, head into the organization admin area and then select the library module. Before creating your libraries and folders, it's first of all a good idea to have a rough plan of how you want to set out your library module. We recommend setting up libraries which cover a theme of documents such as policies and procedures, or clinical policies and procedures, operational policies and procedures, and then using your folders to subcategorize those down. For example, if you had a library of policies and procedures, you could then have folders for clinical policies, operational policies, organizational and HR policies. You can also apply different libraries to different security groups, so to provide different policies to different members of staff, and that is done at the library level as well. So to begin with, we go into libraries, and we've currently got 3 test libraries already. So we are going to create a new library, and we are going to call this policies and procedures, with a description of all policies and procedures, and then click the add button. Once you have then created your library, you will now be asked to add your library permissions. From here, you can select your permission group. So in this case, I'm going to select the default everyone group and then select a permission level. We have 3 permission levels available within the library module. Read gives read-only access. Edit allows those users to be able to edit documents, metadata, and upload new versions. And then delete allows the same as the edit rights, but also the ability to delete versions and delete documents. So in this case, I'm going to give the everyone group, the default group for all users on the system, read-only access. Then I'm going to add a second permission group for our administrators and give them delete access. So by selecting delete, that will also give edit rights as well. If you want to split down which users can access a specific library, you can click the security group option on the left-hand side, and this is where you can create a new security group. So for example, we can put in here library, and we'll call this policies and procedures, and click add group. Now we don't need to assign any permissions to this user group because we're just going to use this to control the user access. So we can then go and find a user. We will then find my admin user. And then we'll add that into the library policies and procedures group. If we now go back to policies and procedures, I can then go and add that permission in. Once we have set that up, we go back into the library module and click into folders. Here is where we can then create folders for each of our libraries. And to be able to upload documents, you need at least 1 folder in each library. So we'll go into the library that we've just created, which is the policies and procedures library. And I'm going to create a new folder called clinical, which is clinical policies and procedures. And then I'm also going to put a general folder for our general policies. At this stage, that is the basic configuration completed. We can now go back to the home page of Salus 3 Cloud and then go into the library module. We can now see we have the policies and procedures library. If we click into this library, we can now see our clinical and general folders. We'll go into clinical and we can now see that there's no subfolders available. So within the organization admin area where you created your clinical folder, if you click on clinical, you can then go and create a subfolder and then further subfolders depending on how you want to lay out your folder and your policy structure. We do recommend trying to keep as few folders as possible so it doesn't get too complicated to use and manage. So once we're back in the library module and we're in the clinical folder, because we have edit or delete rights, we see an upload new document button. So here we can go and put in our test clinical policy. We can put the date of that policy. That can be the date that you upload it. It can be the date that it was last reviewed or the date it was written. I'm going to put this down as last year, an example. We have document types and categories. You can select these if you want. They are optional. And again, in the organizational admin area, if you go into library, you have document types, categories, where you can create your own codes if you want to use these. We then want to upload the file. So we'll upload our test document. Then we have some other document metadata if we want to use this. Pin the document. So if we select yes, that will then display on the front page of the library module to bring that to the attention of your users. You got from, reference, fleet, vehicle registration. These are copied from our document management module. If you wish to fill these in. URL, you can put a URL in here instead of a document. So if you want to link to Purple Guide guidance, for example, or other guidance that may be available on the internet or an intranet site, you can put those links in, which will appear for users to look at. And you can also record a review or expiry date for this document. So in this example, I'm going to put the review date as the 1st of September 2024, as in 3 days ago, it was due to be reviewed. And then we click upload document. That document has now been uploaded, and clicking on the folder open icon will display a preview of that document. We can also do other items here, such as not pinning the document if we want to change that, if we don't want that to be pinned to the front page. We then have a table icon. So this will show you the users and the timestamp of what have happened on that document. So you can audit who has read that document, who has opened it, who has downloaded it if it's not a PDF. These will also appear on the user's HR record. So providing you have linked the HR record to a user account in the top right-hand corner in the HR module, then under library compliance, you'll be able to see the document audit of all the documents that particular employee has accessed. There's also an orange markers red button. This is what the user can then click to say that they've marked a document. But before I click that button, if I go back to the dashboard, this is where you see your pinned documents. And then within pending documents, these will be all the documents that I need to go and review as an employee. Also on the home page of the portal, I'll also be told here that I have a number of pending documents to review, and clicking that will take me into it. I can then go into the test clinical policy. I can then view the document and read it. I can then go back to the dashboard page, and then I can click mark as read. That yellow box then disappears for myself. It then disappears off my pending review list, and I can then see within the table that that document was marked as read with the timestamp. If we go back to the Salus 3 Cloud homepage, and then we go into the Enterprise module, Enterprise is where you can get an overview of what's been going on across the entire system. We have a library tab, and we have some boxes here. These will prompt you when you have documents that require review. So the review date that we put in as the 1st of September 2024, because that was 3 days ago, the review of that document or that policy is now overdue. And I can click on this red box, and here is my test clinical policy. And it's telling me that the review date was due on the 1st of the 9th. I can now go and review that policy, and I'm going to upload a new version. So I can put in a new date of today. It automatically gives me a new version number. I can put in the test document again. I can mark that it's next due for review in 2025. Reviewed, no changes. So we can record any changes that we may have undertaken within that document. We can then now upload that new version. We will now see a couple of things happen. First thing is the review expiry date has moved to the 4th of September 2025. If we go back to the Salus 3 Cloud Home and we go back into Enterprise and we look at our library tab, that's now gone down to 1 because that document is no longer for review. We have another version, which is version 2. We can see the change overview here. So it's been reviewed and there's actually no changes. So you can also give information to your staff, to your employees, to your users, any changes that have been made in the document. So if you've got a really long document, you could document the sections that have been changed. So they can go and just read those sections rather than having to read the whole document. So your employees can go back in, they can open the document, they can read the document, they can go back to the library module, and they can then click that they've marked that version as read, and it's come off the line. And again, that will then display within the document audit with its timestamp. So in a nutshell, that is how the Salus 3 Cloud library module works.